irregularities. Apart from the outright non-compliance with the electoral law, the petitioners also claimed that the presidential election was marred by many irregularities and the cumulative effect of which fundamentally and negatively impacted on the integrity of the election. The most serious of the irregularities alleged by the petitioners was that many of the prescribed forms 34A, 34B, and 34C that were used in the election had no security features. Other such forms had different layouts and security features. I don't have to read all that. We have considered the security features. The prominent one coming out of this is that some of these forms did not have those security features, whereas the information we were given was that they were all printed by the same printer and they should have had those security features. We disagree with the council that this is not in the act and that it was as a result of abundance of caution taken by IEBC. If that was the case, then all the forms should have the features, the security features that IEBC itself devised, and there is no reasonable explanation given why some should not have and some should have. That is the conclusion we have reached. So we have also considered that there are some, the report which was tabled, the scrutiny report, shows that some forms that were availed were carbon copies, others were the original forms 34A, but did not bear those, the IEBC stamp. Other forms were stamped and scanned, while others were not, and they were photocopies. We have considered all those, the report that was availed, but what comes out is that from the report, the scrutiny report indicates that out of a random examination of 4,299 forms 34A, 481 were carbon copies, but they were signed. 157 were carbon copies which were not stamped. 269 were original copies that were not signed. 26 of the forms were stamped. And some were not signed by the agents as required, and there was no explanation given as to why the agents did not sign, or they were, why they were not given to sign. Submitting on these findings, Mr. Rengo, for the petitioners, contended that the report had proved beyond reasonable doubt that the election process was shambolic. According to counsel, from 34C, which was used to announce the presidential results, had no security features, and hence the authenticity of the results, as announced in Form 34C, could not be guaranteed. Council further contended that in totality, the number of votes affected is more than 90 constituencies. In more than 90 constituencies, as a consequence of these irregularities, could be as high as 5 million. Council submitted that a random sampling of the Forms 34A depicts numerous irregularities, those ones which I have already enumerated. In response, the respondents were categorical that most of the forms met the standard required features. They stated that the petitioners had failed to demonstrate that any of the figures in the forms were inconsistent with what was announced. Further, that the format of the forms was undisturbed. I'm trying to skip the parts which details of which I've explained. As we have noted that out of 291 forms, 56 from that random sample, 56, did not have the watermark features, while 31 did not bear the serial numbers. And a further 5 were not signed at all. And the 2 were only stamped by the returning officers, but not, were stamped by the returning officers, but not signed. In addition, a further 32 forms were not signed by the agents. The above indices are a single out since they are indices where accountability and transparency of the forms are in question. The court also notes that in her affidavit, Immaculate Kasaiti, director of the first respondent, stated, and we have quoted in extenso the averments of Kasaiti, where she categorically states that all these forms had the features that were given by IBC to the printers.